Nematodes are something that many people are unfamiliar with, if they're good, if they're bad, or even what are they and how they can benefit or not benefit your garden. So what are nematodes? And there's two different, I guess, categories, Holly, of nematodes. One, we're going to focus on the garden soil type of nematodes.
Yeah. There's like parasitical nematodes that you can get in your body or something like that. I don't know much about it. I'm not a doctor. So we're talking about the garden nematodes. Okay, so they're often referred to as roundworms. They're not closely related to tree worms. They're a multicellular insect with smooth, unsegmented bodies. So that means that they're like tiny little worms that are very smooth.
So we can physically see these to a certain level.
Yeah, they're not, but yeah, not really.
Okay,
so typically what they do is they...
Yeah, what do they do? What are we...
They're kind of parasitic. So they're a parasite.
Okay.
They're going to feed on things like roots. They're going to feed on the inside structure of the plants. And they usually like to eat the foliage and the flowers, but they do it from the inside. Okay, so
it goes inside of the plant and eats what it needs to survive.
Yeah. So the ones that attack our bodies are the same. They get into your immune system, or they can harm your immune system from the inside of your body. So they do that from the inside of the plants. They have these like sharp teeth. Even though they're super tiny, they have these sharp teeth. Mm-hmm. And then they eat the cell walls of the plant.
Okay.
But they do it through the soil. So like if you have nematodes in your soil, then that's how they eat your plants. And those are the bad ones.
Do we know how nematodes get into our soil?
So they move from... Hold on.
Okay.
They spread from kind of like anything. They can spread from if they're on your tools, your boots, your
You bought
animals.
a plant that has it. You brought it in, plant in your garden. They will create an ecosystem and spread reproductively in your garden that way.
Yeah. And they're going to prey on more of the sad, like the not healthy plants.
Okay, so your weak plants. So as we've talked about on the program over and over again, hydration is and nutrient-dense plants are healthy plants that can fight off diseases just like a human body. If you're not in a healthy, high level of hydration or whatever you want to call it, your body is more susceptible to diseases and colds. Same holds true to a plant. If you see a plant that's dehydrated or wilting because of lack of water, for whatever reason, insects and nematodes and other bugs can sense the weakness of that plant, and they seem to magnetize themselves towards it.
Right. So, okay, yep, that's correct. So what you want to keep in mind also is that if you see a plant that looks droopy, or if you see a bunch of plants that look droopy, you might have nematodes. It kind of depends. There could be a few different things. If it's yellowing, it could be a number of things. But if it's yellowing and you know your soil is good, you're not overwatering your soil, it could be nematodes.
Okay.
Because since they eat the inside of cell walls.
You're not physically seeing, that is an aphid, for example,
right.
on the plant.
No, you're not. You're not going to physically see them.
Okay.
On the plants because they do their damage.
And also, whenever you see what the aphid or the nematode has done, is it more of once you've seen what it has done, it's already too late?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so there is some you can be reactive to it.
Actually, no, it is already too late.
Okay, so it's already too late once the plant has shown symptoms or signs of destruction from the internal portions of the plant.
Right. So the best thing also is to make sure your soil is well draining, because they don't travel very far in the soil themselves, but they travel far in like puddled water. So
like a bog type of...
Mm-hmm, right. So you want to make sure your soil is well draining, and you want the soil to be moist, but not like soaked continually. And also, you don't want if you have clay soil, you want to try to break that up so that your soil is well draining.
And whenever we have that healthy soil, it's less likely that it's more likely the plants will not be as susceptible, or the nematodes won't be as effective on the plants
Right.
if we have a healthy soil.
So the other thing is good to know, nematodes don't like the sun. They don't like to be exposed to the sunlight. The sunlight kills them.
Okay, so if we have partial shade, boggy, wet soil in the corner of the garden, that's more of the environment in which a nematode is going to be successful in living, rather than an open, full sun, damp soil we have in a different portion.
That's correct. So if you think you have nematodes, you're gonna pull those plants up. You're not gonna compost them. You're not gonna put them in the road for the city. You're not going to
trash them.
Do whatever. Yeah, put them directly into the trash. Okay, those are now landfill plants. You don't want to burn them, anything like that. So you want to do that. Then you want to turn your soil over. You can use a spade or whatever. You can till it, whatever you want to do, and then that will expose them to the sunlight, and then that way that kills them off.
Okay, so you're exposing to the atmosphere, sun. That's how we're going to get rid of them, if we do have them. And the signs will show that we may be experiencing that based on the conditions of the plants.
Right. So then the beneficial nematodes will attack things like weevils, the different borers, cutworms, and then what are called webworms, which are commonly found in sod, and then cinch bugs and white grubs.
So before we go any further, we've talked about the bad nematodes, and then there's good nematodes.
That's correct.
Just like bad people and good people, living all in the same area.
Yes.
That's what we're looking
right.
at. Okay.
So, but the good nematodes don't do anything to the bad nematodes. Bad nematodes don't do anything to good nematodes. It's like they're just on their own separate planes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So with that, you just want to keep in mind there's nothing you can do to attract either. I mean, you can do things to detract them, like we'd mentioned. If you have like a corner of yard that doesn't get a lot of sunlight, you may have some there. But the good thing about the good nematodes is that they attacked the insects by injecting a deadly bacteria, or then they use them as a parasite. So they are a parasite, and then they use them as their host. Okay. So they're very much a parasite.
So that's and we have bad things in our soil. We have good things in our soil. Some of the good things in our soil combat the bad things, but in this instance and situation, the good nematodes leave the bad nematodes alone. The bad nematodes leave the good nematodes alone.
But the good nematodes attack other stuff.
Okay.
So it's kind of like whatever.
So nematodes, it may be something that you were not familiar with, or even knew that terminology existed in your yard or garden, but we wanted to make you aware because as a motto of our program here, we want to educate you about things that are going on in your garden. If we can be a little more educated each day, we become better people in whatever field or hobby that we have.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.